Hi James, how are you?
I'm very well, Robledo. Hi.
Let's start talking about the story of Nicholas Winton. How did you first come into contact with this story, with this man? It was also through the television program, or did the project already come to you as an invitation to direct?
The television program I was aware out there. I'd seen that clip, like many people had, that YouTube clip, and
Yeah,
a little bit of my history. I started my training at the BBC, and my second ever position was a trainee researcher on that same program, on not that
great.
episode, but that same team.
Yeah,
But then more recently, you'll know that I worked on Slow Horses with a company called Seesaw Films, and they brought me the script and a link to that clip all over again and
yeah.
said, "Are you interested?" And I was. The rest is history.
One Life in some point was. Have you thought about transforming into a series?
I don't think so. I think it works so well as a single story. There is such a good single arc for the character for Nikki's character.
Yeah.
It felt that it also has the scope and universality to play on the big screen. And in a world where I think we're re-examining what stories work well in the cinema, this felt like a story where the shared experience of that emotion was really powerful to experience
Yeah.
in an audience, not on your own at home.
About a young man who many years ago visited Prague. What he found there were thousands of refugees at the mercy of Hitler's imminent invasion.
Do you ever think about the children and what happened to them?
I bet you got some stories.
That's really not about me.
You're talking about the Holocaust, and now and then it's a topic that comes around in cinemas, in movies. Why is it still important to talk about that episode? And what can a film like One Life can add to the theme?
I think it's important because it's about humanity, and it's about humanity at its edge and at its worst. And I think we have to understand, we have to try and learn from our past. I have to tell you that Nicky was very pessimistic about the ability of humanity to learn from his past. So what can it tell? What can it add to it? Well, people have compared it to other Holocaust films, but I'm sort of nervous of describing it as a Holocaust film.
Yeah.
In many ways, it's so much more uplifting than many Holocaust films can end up being, because it's a film about human spirit, about something positive and outside of the camps. Obviously, it's in the period of the Holocaust. It takes place because of Nazi politics. But its resonance for today is about much more than that. Nicky went out of his way to say this isn't just about the Jews. 80% of the children he saved were Jewish, but 20% were not. They were also the children of Catholics and Baptists and politicians. So there is also a message of universality, of the idea that it was important to save all children, no matter what their faith. And I think that's a lesson to carry for now, because the moment we start, as we are today, so acutely and talking about the tribes, then we create the lines for conflict.
Let's talk about the choices of Anthony Hopkins and Johnny Flynn to play the protagonist. How did you come up with these two names? And what was it like working with both of them?
Anthony Hopkins' name was put forward by Barbara Winton. When she handed over the book rights to the production company, she said, "You can make this movie, but you need to get Anthony Hopkins to play my father." Which is, it's a big ask.
Yeah.
We managed to get Anthony, and then Johnny. Obviously, there's a certain physicality that they share. They have the same sort of stocky stature and the same power about them, the same quiet intensity. But also, Johnny is an incredibly generous actor. There's no big ego there. So he was thrilled and respectful to work with Tony, where maybe some other actors would want to push their own version of Nicky onto their part of the film. This was an incredibly collaborative process.
Working to evacuate these children by train to safety in Britain.
Why are you doing this, Mr. Winton?
Because I may be able to do something about it. I must.
Go now.
Nikki, you must know we cannot save them all. You have to forgive yourself that.
Great. Well, James, thank you again for the opportunity to talk to you, and congratulations for your beautiful work.
Thank you. I've enjoyed talking to you. Thank you very much.